Madam Speaker, the Honourable Prime Minister, Honourable Leader of the Opposition, the Honourable Ministers, Honourable Members of Parliament. I rise this afternoon to lend my wholehearted support to the budget of 2018-19. Madam Speaker, allow me to commend the Honourable Minister of Economy and his team for a budget that embraces the crucial role of defence and national security in the country. Furthermore, the government's vision for progressive development and ensuring a safe and secure Fiji is expressly addressed in this budget. Madam Speaker, Fiji's defence and security landscape has transformed over the years due to changes in demographics, devastating and frequent natural disasters, and technology enabling new cyber security challenges. Our disciplinary forces, the military and the police, are empowered by their constitutional obligation to ensure at all times the safety and security, defence and well-being of Fiji and all Fijians. Madam Speaker, this budget allows the two disciplinary forces to carry out their roles and responsibilities resourcefully and competently. My ministry is well aware of its primary responsibility, and that is to provide policy oversight over the Republic of Fiji military forces and the Fiji police force to ensure that public safety and security is realized. For this purpose, the ministry has embarked on its security review over the last 3 years to modernize and transform the security mechanism of government. The 2018-19 budget permits the ministry to progress towards an innovative pathway that embraces national strategic development plans which reflect the spirit of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. This budget takes us a step further, and now we are now beginning to implement those plans. Madam Speaker, accordingly, the total budget of the Ministry of Defence and National Security in 2018-19 is $6.3 million. The increase in the budget allocation by $1 million is mainly attributed to the following: an increase in staffing for the National Security and Defence Review, hosting of Fiji Day celebrations throughout the country, increases in other operating expenditure for travel and communication, maintenance and purchase of goods and services, and also an increase in capital projects. Madam Speaker, the Fiji Police Force is responsible for maintaining law and order in Fiji by employing the best practices in police work by using modern technologies and innovative strategies to prevent criminal activities. The force engages in a wide range of activities to maintain professional personnel that are well trained and well equipped to handle evolving criminal threats. There is no doubt that the force requires all the assistance it can get to mitigate the concerns of our internal security, management of criminal and security landscape, humanitarian and disaster response, recovery and relief, commitment to sub-regional, regional and international obligations, and by transforming the Fiji Police Force in becoming a modern policing and law enforcement agency that we all can be proud of. The review of the Police Force's annual reports prepared by the Bipartisan Standing Committee of Parliament on Foreign Affairs and Defence recommended progressive improvements in many of the areas that have been funded in this budget. We will be witnessing a momentous period in our history, as this could not be achieved or rather have been neglected by previous governments who have repeatedly failed to address the most vital component of any successful economy, and that is the provision of security. This government has therefore provided the environment to review and reform the Fiji Police Force since independence. Madam Speaker, this budget finally allows the Fiji Police Force to fulfill its vision by aligning its strategy with strengthening capabilities and acquisition of resources. This is to respond effectively to the current crime landscape, enabling a safe and secure environment for citizens to reside, investors to invest and trade, as well as our valued tourists to visit our shores of hospitality. Madam Speaker, this government is liberating the police force out of traditional policing into meeting challenges in the sophisticated and modern policing era. The use of technologies, demographic and statistical analysis, rural and urban planning concepts, Duabata community policing, the use of drones, motorcycles, and new fleet of vehicles as provided by the government under the lease agreement, as well as those recently provided generously by the Chinese government, CCTV cameras, a DNA and forensic lab, a cyber crimes unit, police patrol boats, latest communication technologies, satellite imaging, tracking devices, and a lot more specialized and well-trained investigators to help solve existing and new crimes as quickly as possible. Madam Speaker, we are forming new relationships and engaged in an ever-expanding international network of security specialists who are going to transfer the necessary technical and specialist skills that will enable our police to finally get a firm grip on Fiji's crime and ultimately ensure our citizens' security. Madam Speaker, the total budget for the Fiji Police Force in 2018-19 is $193.5 million, comprising of $165.6 million for operating expenditure, $23.8 million for capital expenditure, and VAT component of $4.1 million. The increase of $46.6 million in 2018-19 is attributed to an increase of $24.6 million to regularize 421 positions in the first phase and creation a further 180 constabulary positions. Also, an increase in other operating expenses for licensing renewals, travel and subsistence and incidentals, and also an increase in special expenditure due to a new allocation for the 218 general elections operations. Also, an increase in capital construction programs by $14 million for the upgrading of existing facilities and the construction of 3 major new police stations. The police station in Nandi, in Lotoka, and also Nakasi, plus other supporting infrastructure necessary, such as upgrade of the police dog section and others. Madam Speaker, as part of progressive improvements, Phase 1, as reflected in this budget, enables the force to stabilize its current structure by regularizing 421 positions. Over the years, the Fiji Police Force had temporarily established police stations and specialized units by sourcing personnel from within its existing strength. This regularization process will allow the Fiji Police Force to formalize its establishment to the required manning level. Additionally, the creation of 180 constabulary positions will allow the absorption of special constables into the regular force, which is part of the phasing out of the special constable cadre. Also, Madam Speaker, this whole process is part of the 5-year restructure implementation phase, where the overall manpower will be more than doubled by 2023. Madam Speaker, in this budget we anticipate new initiatives which include the following. $1 million is allocated to start construction on a new Nalawa police station in Ra, which was damaged by Cyclone Winston. $500,000 for the construction of new living quarters for community posts and rural stations. $720,000 is allocated for the purchase of police boats and outboard engines to provide maritime security for ports of entry, efficient and effective border management services, timely and effective response to criminal activities and disasters in open waters. Also, Madam Speaker, $150,000 has been provided for the procurement of a generator for the forensic services to provide backup power supply in the summer. Also, $300,000 is provided to supply and install video recorded interview machines. This will support the reform of police procedures and practices following the United Nations Convention Against Torture and other cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment or punishment, and also improve overall efficiency of police interviews. The new initiatives I've just noted, Madam Speaker, will give the Fiji Police Force leverage to adapting to the changes in the strategic law enforcement environment. Knowledge and anticipation, prevention, deterrences, protection, and intervention are at the heart of police work. Improving operational support for more effective and successful criminal prosecutions through increased allocations for court witnesses' fees, training witness and suspect meals are also considered. Madam Speaker, this will allow witnesses to willingly and efficiently support the police through transparent and fair prosecution processes. About $593,000 is allocated for this purpose. Madam Speaker, as we increase our manpower, it is only prudent that we provide them with the necessary resources. By constructing new police stations and police posts and improving existing posts to better the services rendered by the police. The rest of the increase allows station upgrades for the Kandawu police station and the upgrade of our Nasese garage, the upgrade of institutional police quarters, covering the planned works for quarters at the priority posts and stations, the installation of 3 solar power units annually in maritime and remote police stations and police posts, the purchase of communication equipment to improve response times and surveillance of public areas, basic policing tools, and standard operational equipment. Madam Speaker, information technology equipment to improve recording and reporting for police investigations for use in successful trials. Also quality control systems and training for forensic, bio and DNA lab, chemistry and lab equipment for toxicology, trace and sample analysis. Madam Speaker, the restructure will strengthen our presence and service delivery here at home, as well as expand our footprints in the regional and international arena of policing, law enforcement, peacekeeping, and interagency collaboration. This government is providing officers, posts, and stations with proper crime-fighting skills and equipment to effectively detect criminal activity and take swift action to maintain public safety. Madam Speaker, the Fiji Police Force will continue to develop and grow its workforce to meet up to its modern-day standards, and we envisage scholarships will be extended to our police personnel in areas of demand to meet new age requirements such as physical, financial, and cyber forensics, leadership development, improved investigations, procedures, and techniques, and other specialist fields. Madam Speaker, on the Republic of the Fiji Military Forces, the 2013 Constitution entrusts the Republic of Fiji Military Forces with a responsibility, and I quote, to ensure at all times the security, defense, and well-being of Fiji and all Fijians, end of quote. In this regard, the RFMF in the 2018-19 budget has been allocated a total sum of $103.2 million, an increase of $7.1 million. This, Madam Speaker, represents an increase of approximately 7.4% when compared to the 2017-18 budget. The increase reflects government's commitment in ensuring that the RFMF is postured correctly and has the capability and capacity to perform its constitutional role and be ready to tackle the modern-day security challenges brought about by climate change, radicalism, and transnational crime, to name a few. Madam Speaker, I will now briefly update this House on some of the major highlights of the 2018-19 budget for the RFMF. The RFMF's operational strategy is to be able to respond independently and effectively to more immediate challenges. Therefore, the bulk of the budget is skewed towards maintaining operational response, readiness, and the conduct of services to nations such as conducting humanitarian assistance and disaster relief efforts, conduct search and rescue missions in Fiji's exclusive economic zone, and remote search and rescue missions on land. Also, Madam Speaker, mapping an update of hydrographic nautical charts for maritime users, assisting government in delivering government projects in rural and remote parts of Fiji. Madam Speaker, for 2018-19 financial year, the RFMF will place greater emphasis on investing in institutional knowledge and fostering its human capital development through training and development programs. Such training is important for the correct posturing of the RFMF and more so in enhancing with their counterparts, as was effectively witnessed during the TC Winston HADR operations when RFMF was working on concert with the Australian, New Zealand and other defence forces. The budget increase covers for overseas training, inter-house training, including promotional courses, increase in meal allowances and periodic replacement of head-to-toe kits. Madam Speaker, I wish to bring to the attention of this House the establishment of the RFMF Band. The RFMF Band was formed in 1917 and has evolved over the years, earning them a legacy and reputation that has stretched far beyond Fiji's shores. In 2017, the RFMF celebrated the centennial anniversary, 100 years of its establishment. Due to the heavy commitment of the RFMF Band, both domestic and internationally, there is a need to expand the RFMF Band. In the 2018-19 financial year, the RFMF will be establishing a Navy Band, targeting unemployed youths with talent and interest in music. The plan is to collaborate with the Ministry of Youth and Sports Training Center that provides music training. Madam Speaker, the RFMF, through its engineering regiment, implements an extensive range of capital projects in Fiji, mainly in the rural and maritime regions, which has helped improve the livelihoods of ordinary Fijians. This includes projects initiated by the Office of the Prime Minister, donor agencies, and other ministries and departments. Apart from this, the unit looks after the upgrade and maintenance of RFMF quarters and buildings. Funds have been allocated for preliminary works for the construction of a new warehouse at Jerusalem Road in Namboa. The main objective of this project is to centralize procurement and distribution of goods and services in order to ensure effective control and management of stores. The secondary role of the warehouse will be to facilitate storage and distribution of HADR stores. Madam Speaker, the 90 Backrock Integrated Peacekeeping Center caters for training in military personnel who prepares themselves for peacekeeping missions. In the next financial year, funding provisions will cater for civil works, completion of mess hall, and other minor upgrading works. Also, Madam Speaker, information technology plays a vital role in achieving productivity and efficiency in any organization. As such, funding allocated will assist in the upgrading of IT infrastructure and equipment for the RFMF. To ensure that communications and explosives are safely kept, funding has been allocated for the upgrade of the camp's magazine building and for the upgrade and renovation of the camp's armory. And Madam Speaker, moving on, the RFMF's Naval Division is responsible for the surveillance of Fiji's maritime boundary, including our exclusive economic zone. In May this year, 79 recruits successfully passed out from the Navy's training base in Tongalevu. In upholding equal employment opportunities, this was the first time that the Navy has recruited 26 females. Madam Speaker, moving on to Head 49, which pertains to peacekeeping operations, the RFMF is charged with providing forces for international peacekeeping operations in line with the government's foreign commitment and maintaining world peace. Madam Speaker, in conclusion, let me just say that this government has taken some bold steps to ensure our national security and defense capabilities evolve and adapt to challenges on the front line. The Ministry and the two disciplined forces have embarked on restructure and reforms that will ensure that Fiji remains a safe and secure home for all Fijians, and the 2018-19 budget provides them the enabling resources to carry out the difficult tasks ahead. Madam Speaker, I again reiterate my wholehearted support for the 2018-19 budget Thank you and vinaka vakaleo.